Hey guys, this is AJ here. Looks like there's not many on watching, but that's okay. I'm doing a little bit of a trial here. Um, as I've said, my name is AJ and I'm part of an awesome online community called Produce Like a Pro. And it's a Produce Like a Pro Academy that I'm part of. And I also have a little Facebook page, a little Facebook group called the Plappers Studio One uses collaborative, and I've been posting about the built-in effects in Studio One. So I kind of had the idea to, um, I've had the idea to read exactly what it says in the manual. I get some funny looks when I say Aussie manual. It's manual. And so what I've done is just started doing the reading straight out of the manual on the particular effect that we're looking at the time. Just I thought it might help some people if, one, they haven't got time to read the manual. I've got to be careful how I say that. And then just go through a couple of little things that how I would use the plugin, and also how a Pro Tools users would use the particular effects in their native effects. For instance, they Avid have their built-in EQs, compressors, etc., and so does Studio One. So that's exactly what we're doing here today. So it's actually, we're up to episode Bitcrusher. We're going through them alphabetically. And so we're looking at the Bitcrusher today because it's next in line. Previous was the binaural pan plugin, which is really, really cool. If you're watching this, you want to know more, please leave me a comment below. We'll go for it. So without any further ado, here's my screen with, as you can see, my input is coming through there. That's my microphone. Levels look really good for me, so I'm pretty sure that everything's okay. But if there is somebody watching that can tell me it's coming through clear, that would be pretty awesome. Okay, so what it actually says about the Bitcrusher in the help viewer that you can find under help and Studio One reference manual. It's very, very handy to have it built in. That way you don't have to go searching around on your system to try and find a PDF. So, the Bitcrusher is perfect for audio abuse. Bitcrusher combines overdrive, bit depth reduction, downsampling, and clipping into a single plugin. Bit depth reduction and downsampling are both digital resolution reduction techniques, but each has its own sonic effect. When used in combination, they can create a wide variety of tonal options. So, the following are the parameters available in Bitcrusher. So first we have overdrive, that lets you apply a warm distortion effect ranging from clean to fuzzy. Then we have bit depth. It lets you specify the level of bit depth reduction to apply from 24-bit to 1. 1 is very, very funky. There's also a dirt switch, which enables you to introduce high frequency instability in the bit depth reduction effect, good for creating aggressive sounds. Then we have the downsample knob that lets you specify the level of downsampling to apply. We also have a 0 button. If you enable it, you can emphasize the high frequencies ringing effects added by downsampling. When disabled, a smooth interpolation process is applied to the signal, lessening the audible artifacts. So if you downsample, you usually get almost like a ringy sound, no matter what the source is. So that helps you with that. There's a nice display here. Gives you a little bit of a representation of what you're actually doing to the wave itself, which is really funky. That's pretty cool. Moving along, the clip lets you set the threshold for the signal of the clipping effect. At 0, the signal is unaffected, and settings below 0, the signal is clipped in your choice of the following ways. So you've got these buttons down the bottom here. So first is digital. That's a standard digital clipping. Squarely clips the peaks of the waveforms at the chosen threshold. Overflow. This inverts and offset the peak at a faster interval. And finally, foldback introduces harmonics by inverting waveform peaks at the chosen threshold and also at 0. So that one I'll show you in a second. I use on snares to give them a little bit of what we call in the plapper community wrongness. So we can stuff around with it a bit. So the gain lets you raise or lower the overall level of your signal. So you have a range of -24 to +24 dB. Enable the auto option, which is the button underneath, to set the gain automatically to match the gain changes created by the processor itself. So if you're mangling the audio, you can get some clipping and stuff happening, but you can control that with the auto. So switching it on, no matter what you do to the left-hand side of the downsampling and bit depth, it won't override, or sorry, it won't set off the digital clipping. And then we finally have a mix knob that lets you blend between the dry and affected signals. So you have from 0 to 100, I think 200%. No, 100%. Okay. So that's what it says in Le Manuel. So now I'm going to have this drum loop here that I have brought into my session here. And I'm just going to set that loop there and have it play, and I'm going to go through some of the presets. So there you go. I just went through all the presets there. There's a lot of usable stuff, especially if you're doing remixes and stuff. It's really cool. For example, this vocal that I've got here. I've had a change of heart. So if I add some Bitcrusher to that, so what I'm going to do is set a default here, and I'm just going to switch it back on. And I'm just going to add some overdrive to the signal. Let's go 6 dB to start with. I've had a change of heart. So you can hear the gain has become, the volume has gone way up. So if you actually enable this auto here, it will level that out a bit. I've had a change of heart. So it's really cool to add, you know, like an old telephone effect using Bitcrusher that way. Now there's another really cool thing that I like to use it on, is that's to introduce a little rough around the edges sound to a snare. So I've got this snare set up here, and this is what it sounds like when doves cry. No, this is what it sounds like on its own here. So pretty standard kind of snare there. So just by adding even some overdrive to the snare signal, let's start at 6 dB again, and let's put on the auto gain so we can get some level. So the effect is a little bit like a bad room or a noisy room. There's a lot of reflections going on there, but it's just got that little bit of wrongness about it. So you could even dial the mix down a bit. So this is off and on. So if we actually use the clipping part of the plugin here and go to fold back, and I'm just going to dial that back a couple of dB. Let's add some dirt to it. So just by downsampling that a little bit, adding some overdrive, so we're down to 12-bit here. And by using fold back, actually let's dial all the way up so you can hear it clearer. There's a little bit like a delay happening there now. So if we bring that into the mix more, there it is dry. So you're just messing it up a little bit, that's all. So there's a couple of little things that you can use it. You can actually get and mangle the audio something fierce, so it doesn't it doesn't sound like it was originally. For instance, this drum beat here. So you can see just by turning the mix knob up and down, you can get almost like a filtering effect, like for a breakdown. So you could have it automated, so that way it can come in slowly as a different effect. So that kind of thing. So all you need to do is right click, edit automation mix. So that if we add a point there, yep, that'll do just for the, you'll also see when you automate something in Studio One, there's a little green dot. So you can see really, really quickly if you bring up a plugin, and if you want to know what's automated, just that little green dot. So now I'm just going to put a little bit of curve on that. So now it should automate that mix knob. So just like that. So there we go. That's the Bitcrusher. As you can see, you can use it to mangle all of your audio, some of your drum loops, things like that, just to change the sound up a bit. I urge you to experiment, especially with guitars. If you use this as kind of like a distortion pedal, you can get some weird and wonderful sounds, especially if you're doing it with reverb and delay. There's a lot of stuff that you can get, a lot of sounds that you can get, especially if you're a sound designer. There's so many things you can do with just this one Bitcrusher plugin. So there we go. That's Bitcrusher. This is a little series that I've been doing. I thought I would try live streaming it on YouTube. I haven't been on the channel here for quite a while on Take a Minute. Hopefully ramping that up a bit more. I've been busy doing other stuff, so trying to get my YouTube channel started and going a bit better. They tell me that the best way to do that is to post a lot. And yeah, other things have been getting in the road, like life. So that's a little bit on one of the built-in effects in Studio One. I hope somebody gets a little bit out of this. Please leave me a comment and please subscribe. And as they say, ring that bell if you want to be notified when I actually do put a video up. Anyway, this has been AJ for Take a Minute, and we will catch you in the next one. Goodbye.